So, y'all, we just talked and talked and talked about real estate, about life, about motherhood. I knew that no matter what question I had, I can call on this woman. It was really genuine. You know, sometimes people will tell you, you could call me, I could tell you, but we quickly developed that relationship. And I really appreciate that, Lenore. She is a staple in Chicago. She is doing something that a lot of women can't say that they have done yet. She owns her own construction company. She is a developer. She is redeveloping homes in our neighborhoods that's bringing the value up. She's an author. And when I tell you, she came as a speaker and no one wasn't ready. When I see her in groups on Facebook, I'm a lurker, you all. I'm not really a poster, but I see you. I see you. And if something just crossed her desk that a person asked her, she would go in a group and she would say, I'm sure there's other people wondering this, so I'm just want to put it out there. If anybody wants to start their own business, please call me. I will help you. Y'all, who does that without even being asked? Lenore. Okay. She also owns and manages her own real estate brokerage. She also y'all thought I was done. She also has her own property management company. Oh, she is an investor herself. So she doesn't talk about what she's not doing. She's walking it, she's talking it, she's doing it, and she loves to teach others to do the same. Lenore Sherman, can you please come bless us this evening?
Wow. It's so amazing to hear about yourself when somebody else is talking about you. You don't really even think of all the things that you've accomplished. I was talking with my sister and my husband. It's perfect. And I'm going to use this podium because I have a whole bunch of things that I want to make sure that I talk to you ladies about tonight. And I just want to make sure that everybody feels exactly what I'm going to talk to you about. Just to tell you guys a little bit about me, I know Sherry did a great introduction of me and she told you everything as far as me being a real estate investor, owning a construction company, but I'm going to tell you a little bit behind the reason why and how I started to do these things. Recently, someone called me on Facebook a real estate OG. I'm only 43 years old. And I was like, man, I got the title of OG already? Okay. But I accepted it. And then I went back online because someone said, well, she's not really an OG. And I said, well, I bought my first property at 18 as soon as I graduated from high school. So I'm 25 years in real estate this month. 25 years in real estate. And for me, I sometimes get a little bit overwhelmed because when you come from a single parent household and you've had your struggles and you can go back and you can envision and think about everything you thought you wanted to have and wanted to be as a child, I never envisioned this. I prayed for it, but I never envisioned it. And so what I've discovered is that when I was interested in getting in real estate at my very young age, and I was so interested in it, I grew up on the north side of Chicago. I lived in a 900 square foot apartment with my mom and my sister, which my sister and I had really had this huge argument about how big the apartment was. When we were younger, we were like, oh, it was huge. It was a mansion. We looked it up online and it was 900 square feet. I said to myself, Victoria, It was really small. And I remember that my mother had literally moved her bedroom into the living room so she could give both my sister and I bedrooms. And it was really cool. And so every vision and everything I can remember as a child inside of this home was all the love that we had inside this small place. However, because I was a minority on the north side of Chicago, and I went to a school that was extremely diverse, I saw a lot of other people inside of my high school that had nice cars, their parents picked them up every day. And it was to me like, what does your parents do? I want to know. And for a lot of my classmates, there were others. They would say, oh, my dad owns a construction company. Oh, my mama, she does real estate. My mother's a realtor. I started to research in high school about all the money that you can make as a realtor. What is real estate investment? Let me look into that. That's a lot of money. So by the time I graduated from high school, instead of going directly into college, I decided to go work at LaSalle Bank. And I worked in private banking. And there, being the young little staple African American in private banking at LaSalle Bank in the early 90s, I said, okay, I had so many people inside of this bank that loved to pour inside of me. So they taught me about financing. They taught me about mortgages. They taught me, and they just found it to be interesting because I was like a sponge to them. Everything that they wanted to pour into me, I took it and I utilized it. For my 18th birthday, I'm buying me a house. That's what I'm buying. And I did not have enough money to save up to go and just go out and buy me a house. The house I bought was 10602 South LaSalle in Chicago. I remember that house. I said, man, that was the house that gave me all the training and everything I used to have. And I went in that house and I was green as could be. When I tell you I went to the store to buy my materials, I was gonna give me some hammer and some paint and fix this house up. I think I got a loan for $35,000 to fix this house up. I don't even remember what I sold it for, but it was the idea that I was doing something. I was building something that nobody in my family had ever built. So my mother wasn't a homeowner. My father wasn't a homeowner. I'm the first in my family to own a home at the age of 18. And that meant something to me. But that drug I never knew was going to still be here 25 years later, that adrenaline for that clothes, for that purchase of that home. And over the years from 96 to 2005, 2006, I decided to continue to grow. Some of the things that I decided to get into was property management. I went and worked for Habitat. I started to become an asset manager for the Chicago Housing Authority, where I spent 10 years. And as an asset manager, you not only learn about property management, you learn about the financials, you create the budgets for them, you interact with people and get people skills and all of these different things. So for 10 years at CHA, I went through my training camp. I took down Cabrini Green. I helped with the west side of Chicago by the United Center. I helped to develop these areas. And for a young person like myself, and let me mind you of something, I had no college degree. I recently just graduated from college within the last 4 years. Okay. And I only went back to college because I had a son that was in high school that just looked at me like, well, you're successful and you didn't go to college, so maybe I don't have to go. And I said, you know what? You gonna go to college and I can prove to you I can get that degree. And he was like, well, you got too much going on. Baby, I got that degree in 3 years and gave him the piece of paper and said, if I could do it, you can do it. So spent those years in what I would consider my campground. But I want you guys to understand that when I started in real estate, I didn't have no blueprint. I didn't have no Makitas, no Kianas, no Amandas, no one inside of this room that gave me a blueprint as to what I was supposed to do in real estate. For me, it was a vision. It's something that I wanted to do, but there was nothing like savvy chicks that I could join that could help me, or no woman like the women in this room that could help me put me where I needed to be. So I say that to say, I stand here today and yes, everything is great with everything that I've accomplished, but we always like to display the peaks. But my valleys were really, really low. So after the recession, I want you guys to understand that I lost everything. I had over 10 buildings. I had a lot of money inside the bank. I fell so low that I had to go back and live on my mother's couch in her rental. Okay, so that's what the recession of 2008 did for me. I had plenty of buildings, plenty of money, and I over leveraged. Nobody ever taught me about leveraging financing. Back in 07, we were getting checks at the closing table. We was getting a lot of money, you know, and I thought that money gonna last forever. It was more money than most everyone inside my family ever saw. I was doing great. Then the Olympics decided not to come to Chicago, and I was like, oh no, what am I gonna do? Okay, my tenants stopped paying their rent. I started to try to pay all the bills with the money I had saved up, but eventually the money runs out when the tenants don't pay. And I lost, when I say I lost everything, I lost all my buildings, I lost my car, I lost my place, and I ended up having to file bankruptcy. And the biggest thing for me was there was no one, and I mean no one, that could help me. Because for me, back in those days, it was really about you setting the standard. There ain't nobody like you that's doing what you're doing. You taking trials and you're trying things. This is what I want you guys to know. Savvy chicks, and I've been here, this is my 3rd year participating in this event. And I need you guys to understand what Makita has done here at this event is something that I've never experienced in 25 years of real estate. And let me say why. She has an anointing on her life, to provide and put a nice balance in between business and faith. And many people don't know how to do that and walk it, genuinely mean it, and put people in front of who want to see you thrive, who want to see you grow. Because as much as all of us in this room know how to get money and know how to do real estate, we are such a very tiny piece of the huge pie of everybody getting real estate in this business. Okay, so I wanted to give you guys a little bit of background, and I'm gonna jump right into, because she gave me so many titles: property manager, construction, and everything else. After filing bankruptcy and losing everything, by 2010, I met my husband on Facebook. Met him on Facebook, started talking to him. And the crazy thing is, I met him on August 3rd in person, and we got married August 16th, 13 days later. 13 days. And the only thing my husband said to me is, God said, you're my wife. Now, for a woman like myself who did not grow up in anyone's church at all, didn't go, and to meet my husband who is anointed, and to see him walk every single day by faith, it moved me. So the reason that I love Makita so much, the reason that I'm here, and tonight I was not supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be in Miami right now. But when Makita Smith called me, I'm gonna always answer. So now, because of his faith, I move by faith. I show up where I'm supposed to show up. And I truly believe that God blesses me because of the blessing that I have on my life and how I'm supposed to share my information, my knowledge, and everything else. And I see you. This young lady asked me, how do you become Lenora Sherman? She doesn't have to become Lenora Sherman. She has to become the best her. Everything that's in her life that she's supposed to have. I can show you, and I'll give you the tools and the knowledge and everything that I did to become me. And then it's just you that have to do what you need to do in order to take the steps you need to take to have the life that you envision. So today's conversation is assets over liabilities. Now, that is a very sensitive subject for me because many people that know me in Chicago know that I am the Amazon queen. And I love me some Amazon. And it's not that I just love Amazon because I love Amazon. I'm a bit frugal when it comes to the coins. I love the bags. I love to receive the bags, get the check, cash the check and put the money wherever I may. But what I learned along my journey is that we're really great at going out and hustling up the money to make the money. And at the end of the day, some of us as realtors or real estate professionals don't do our very best at what we decide to do with the funds. Now, I want you guys to think about this, and it's very important. For all of us inside this room that make money, imagine not being able to work another day in your life. Would your family be able to sustain living in the home, driving the car, all the activities, maybe vacations? Would they be able to sustain their lifestyle without you bringing $0 in? How many people can say, it would not be an impact on my household? Raise your hand. Okay, great. The majority of the room did not raise their hand. I want you guys to go back and look at what your finances look like. For some of us, it's going to be like, oh no, I don't want to look at what my finances look like. But what I've discovered is the most important thing as far as growing your business, as far as moving to your next level is concerned, is that you need to have a very clear picture of where you are. How much does it cost for you to be you right now? Okay. How much does it cost for you to be you right now? The next thing I want you to do is I want you to calculate how much does it cost for you to retire in 20 years. And if you don't have those funds saved up inside of a bank, then we need to make some changes. The first thing is that for all the commission checks that we're acquiring, we need to start working that money so that that money start working for us. That's the first thing we need to do. We need to utilize the money to start working for us. I'm going to tell you how I did that. I worked at CHA, went to work every single day, took my commission checks, put them inside of the bank. As we know, COVID is here. There have not been any foreclosures, any judgments, any evictions. Right now, you need to be stacking up. Let me tell you, there are going to be more foreclosures and judgments and evictions than you can ever imagine that are going to be available to you. There are people who have been stacking and saving their money for the time that is coming within the next couple of months. Now, for all of us, we're not going to be able to go out there and buy big buildings. That's okay. But you need to start somewhere. If that means buy you a $20,000 condo, buy you a condo. If that means that you have to go get you a trailer and paint the walls and do everything else inside that trailer, go and do that. But you must make sure that you acquire some assets, because we are in our prime working days right now. Right now, today is your prime working days. You can walk, you can talk, you can wiggle, you can dance. And everything that we have right now today is going to start to slowly decline as we age. And we have to start thinking about not today, but tomorrow. The assets over liability is us freeing up our time to make the decisions and have the decisions that we want to do with our life. How many of you guys would like to take a vacation every month? Raise your hand. Every month. I take a trip every month. When I leave here, I'm flying to Miami. How many of you guys would like to have the option to pay for your kids to go to private school? How many of you guys would like to have the option of paying for your parents' household and it not being a burden on you? Creating assets, that is what allows us to have the freedom for us to choose what we want to do with our time. I want to tell you guys a really brief, quick story that changed my life. Everybody right now talks about generational wealth. Everybody up in here believes that they should be building generational wealth. Raise your hand. Generational wealth, right? Generational wealth. Everybody generational wealth, right? Raise your hand so I can see you. 3 years ago, I rehabbed a building in 95th and Forest in Chicago. And I went to this building and I said, wow, there's a little old lady that sits on the porch 2 doors over from the building. And for me, I'm really the type of person who likes to talk to people. I talk a lot, as y'all can tell. And I said to her, you sit out on this porch every day. Who lives upstairs from you? And she says, no one lives upstairs from me. And I said, you're inside this 2-flat by yourself? No one lives with you? And she said, no. And I said, well, how come you haven't rented the upstairs unit? And she tells me, I can't rent the upstairs unit because I don't have the money to fix the unit. I had a little cousin that lived upstairs and they tore the unit up and I haven't had the chance to fix the unit. So I said, okay, all them dollars that she's missing because the unit is sitting vacant. For me, I don't want a vacancy for 5 days, let alone she's had a vacancy for 5 years. And I asked her, do you mind if I go and look at the unit? We're working on the building next door. Let me help you get that unit together so that we can lease that unit out for you. She says, well, I really don't want someone inside of the building. First week, okay. I didn't want to press her because she's a senior. Second week, how you doing? She sat on that same porch. I started bringing her coffee. And while I was having coffee conversations with her, she started to tell me about her building. She said to me, my father used to own several buildings in Chicago from the time of 50 to 70s till he passed away. And I said, okay, real estate been in your family an awfully long time. And she says to me, yes, it has. And I said, how many buildings did your dad own? Just out of curiosity, because if he owned buildings in the 50s, he got started pretty early before a lot of us were able to really buy real estate in Chicago. And she said to me, he probably owned about 30 buildings by the time he passed. And I said to her, what happened to all those buildings? She said, over the years, some of the buildings got torn down because no one in my family wanted to rehabilitate the buildings, wanted to take care of the buildings, and no one paid the taxes on the properties. And I said, you mean to tell me your daddy worked his entire lifetime buying properties and the city tore them down, the county took them, or they just were abandoned? She said, yes. And I said, well, that's very sad. I said, but you still have this one building. So why don't you let me help you with this one unit so that we can start generating you some income? I went upstairs to the unit and it was minor work. We got our team in. We did not charge her anything. And we're able to rehab and fix the unit up in a matter of a week and get her a tenant. Now, this lady ended up getting a tenant. And I thought to myself, I was one of those people who really sat and always said, I want to build generational wealth so I can leave real estate and deeds and titles to my kids. And having that conversation with her transitioned my mind from believing that I wanted to leave all of these properties to my children, because I discovered one thing. My son has absolutely no interest in what I do today. He does not care. My mom does real estate, is what he tells his friend. And I thought about it. Real estate is my passion and my love. So why should I leave him all my hard work when all was said and done? I told my husband, you know what? We will not be leaving our children buildings and deeds and titles and everything else, because guess what? He ain't putting no sweat equity in and he really don't care. And I changed my mentality from thinking about me leaving him deeds and titles and buildings to I'm going to leave him options. Okay. And this is why I say that. My child might decide he want to go to Mars. He might want to marry somebody in Alaska. My daughter might decide that she's going to go in Zimbabwe. I don't know what they're going to decide that they want to do. But while I'm in my money making years to date, I'm going to make sure that I pay that life insurance, because one thing is for certain, I'm guaranteed to leave them one day. And when I decide that I no longer want to sit up here and manage real estate or take care of my buildings, or it becomes too much for me, bricks are currently breathing buildings. They have to be maintained, they have to be taken care of, and everything else. Real estate is a 360-degree business. At the end of the day, they're not creating additional land. So when we keep seeing all these foreclosures and short sales and abandoned properties, and developers are staying busy and investors are staying busy, that's somebody grandma, somebody mama that lost that property. How many people up in here know Big Mama house got sold? You know Big Mama house got sold? It got sold to me. And I want you guys to understand that we have to transition from leaving deeds to children who may not have the same passions that we have in real estate. But it is our job to educate them and ask them and see whether or not it is something that they're interested in. My son has made it very clear he has no interest in it. I will leave him insurance. I will leave him a trust fund. I will make sure that while I am working, he has options to choose how he chooses to live his life. That is very important. I've been talking all this time and I ain't even looked at these notes. Another thing that has really touched me is that so many real estate realtors, we work so hard for our money. Do y'all work hard for y'all money? Do you get tired of running and answering calls for people? You just feel like transactions on transactions and there's so much that we have to do. I want you guys to do me a favor when you get home. I want you to put you on your bulletin board as your number one client. Okay? What that means is that every piece of advice that you give your client to get them ready to purchase or to invest, I want you to become your number one client. That means that if you're not a homeowner yet, because you haven't fixed your credit, I want you to reach out for credit repair. If you haven't purchased a home, I want you to look at purchasing a home and what it requires for you to become a homeowner. If you have not bought your first investment property, I want you to look at becoming an investor inside of real estate. Because at the end of the day, most of us are selling stuff that we don't even have yet. That's the truth. Statistics show that a lot of realtors and real estate professionals don't own the real estate that they convince so many of us to get into. You have to become your number one client. And that's what I chose to do. I took my real estate checks, my commission checks, and said, you know what? For every building that I flipped, I bought an investment property. Every time I sold a flip, most people say, oh, you got them coins. No, my money goes into bricks. That's what I choose to do, not into banks. And I've made that decision consciously because I have been working hard in my 20s. I have been maintaining and working hard in my 30s. Now that I'm in my 40s, I want to relax a little. And as COVID has hit, although I was not mentally prepared to take off the months that I've taken off, but it has been a blessing to me. And it's been a blessing to my family because I always knew that I needed to slow down a little bit. What happened to me about a year and a half ago is that I got vertigo. If most people don't know what vertigo is, that means that, hey, the room is spinning and you're a little off balance. Sometimes it comes, sometimes it goes. But when it comes, I might need a week off so that I can get my bearings back. And that right there, it showed me that there is nothing in life that is predictable. Nothing in life that's predictable. And I could be great today and tomorrow I wake up and it's just like, whoa, I need to stay inside of bed. But what I've been able to do is I've been able to do whatever it is that I choose to do from my cell phone. So most of my business, I would say 99% of my business takes place on my cell phone, on my laptop. I set up a property management company because what I discovered is a lot of my investors, and I have investors in the United States, in the UK, all Australia. I have a whole bunch of investors that I work with, and they did not care where I was working for them. I set systems in place that work for me. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit how I set these systems in place. So first thing is, as a realtor, we give so many services away for free. We have so much knowledge. Some people just have a little bit more grit in getting up and pulling a trigger. But we have so much knowledge that a lot of us give away for free. How many of you guys actually work with real estate investors? Raise your hand. Now, how many of you walk their properties before they're ready to list? Raise your hand. Okay, here's another question. How many of you give them suggestions on designs, layouts, colors, paint colors, finishes, curb appeal? Raise your hand. All of that right there is coins that you're giving away. At the end of the day, it is value added to the investor. And what I need you guys to understand is your time to drive there, it has nothing to do with your commission check. Nothing. It's part of my job. No, it's not. He can go and pick out his own colors. He's the developer and investor. Pick it yourself. You have to get the mentality that all of the services that I'm offering is a value add. If he could do it, he'd be doing it. If she could do it, she'd be doing it. You're the professional. You know what people are looking for on the street. You know what they want to see, what they want to have inside the homes. Most developers and investors only pick up the property and run the numbers. Oftentimes, you're the one who helped them to get that sale. I need you guys to start doing one or two things. Put a cost on the front end or get a bonus on the back end. If you're going to be just as invested as they are in their properties, in their projects, you need to add money to that, okay? Put a dollar sign on how much your time is worth for them. That is very important because at the end of the day, when they get their checks, they're going home happy. They're not the ones who's worried and stressed out, running back and forth, doing the showings and everything. We put so much mileage, not just on our car, but on our bodies. And that costs us. So that's something I want you guys to think about. I also want you guys to reach out to all of your clients, past clients and current clients. And oftentimes we will do the purchase or the sale of the property and say, hey, I work with that client and I'll archive them. Or you might even send them an email to check up and see how they're doing. That's not what I want you to do. All of us inside this room have skills and hitting values that we don't cash in on, okay? What I want you to do is I want you to take all of your special skills and I want you to write them down on a piece of paper, whatever it is that you do. For me, I love to walk people's property and give them an invoice for telling them what's wrong with their property. Pay me $500 for 30 minutes. That's my favorite thing to do. And in that 30 minutes, I'm going to tell them, fix the curb appeal. Yep, something's wrong there. Something's wrong there. You need to fix that. Everything that I can see that's wrong with the property that they say, oh, wow, I didn't notice that. Well, now here it is. I'm going to write it up for you and here's my invoice. Okay. If you're doing that, that is a value add. But what that does is it creates residual income for you. So a couple of ways that I want you to create residual income is this. I want you to reach out to your current clients, find out exactly what services they may need. They may not be in the market to buy a home or to purchase a home. They may have a relative who's losing their home, and you can do right now, you can do BPOs and other things, but someone that you may have sold a multi-unit to may be having a challenge with tenants. And if they're having a challenge with tenants, I can handle that. For all my licensed realtors in this room, property management is monthly residual income that I can guarantee comes every month. Now, this is the caveat that I want you guys to take into consideration. I get hundreds of calls for property management on a weekly, monthly basis. And everyone right now is calling, my tenant isn't paying their rents because of COVID. And this is what I want you to do. You tell them, I will interact with your tenant. I will offer you a property management contract. That property management contract will not be based off of monthly rent collections because you've allowed this tenant to go 18 months without collecting rent. So if you've already set that tone with them, it's going to be awfully difficult for me to all of a sudden say, little Miss Ma'am, can you pay your rent? COVID's over with. No, that's not going to work. But what you will get paid for is your interaction with the process server, your interaction with the attorney, going into court and making sure that that tenant gets moved out. Maybe you'll negotiate cash for keys, but that landlord who has been sitting there for months not doing anything, now you're the liaison that's going to step in. And the way you make your money is simple. You're going to tell him he's going to pay you a flat fee for working for him because it is still work even if the tenant isn't paying. Charge them a flat fee. There are tons of landlords right now that will pay for property management services. Now that's coming in on the back side. The front side is for my clients and my investors that are out of state that have never been to Chicago. I select their properties, I charge them. I walk their properties, I charge them. I hire the contractor. If I'm not the contractor, I charge them as a project manager. I charge them for leasing up the property if I'm going to be the property manager, and I charge them a property management fee. Now, if I'm not going to be managing the property and the property is going on the market for sale, then I still charge them for the sale of the property. That one client is going to pay me 5 times. I charge them for everything. And most people will say, that's an awfully lot of money to be paying. Well, guess what? All of my investors that I work with trust me. I give them a value add because they can sleep at night. One of my biggest clients is out of California who has never been in Chicago. I have never seen him before. I talk to him every single day. And the thing is that I stabilize his portfolio right here. And I have built that confidence up with him because I manage his properties like they are my own. With that being said, he trusts me to make the selections because our turnover has always stayed low. He has always received his rent money. There's been no issues. You guys have to become the nucleus to your real estate clients. That means you are the person that they call for all of their real estate needs, for all of them. So most people say, well, Lenora, how do I get exclusive clients? It's quite simple. I don't have anybody sign any contract because I feel as if most people may not agree with me. I am the best at what I do. I'm going to make sure that I take care of their stuff and their investments as if it was my mother's place at the end of the day. And that's how we have to work in this business. But as much as I do for them, I do it for myself also. I am my number one biggest client. They're my clients, but I'm number one. So I want you guys, every time you decide that you're going to get a commission check, I want you to take that commission check, look at the check. It looks great. I love commission checks, but I want you to start investing and paying yourself first and putting it towards your future you. Because 20 years from now, you're not going to be able to run these streets the way that you currently do. Put your money into your future you. If you don't learn anything else here, put it into you. Wait, I'm almost done. There's an old saying, give a man a fish and you'll feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you fed him for a lifetime. The best investment we can give our family and our future generation is education. We are so far behind in financial literacy. Financial literacy is the key for us to get ahead in life. If we have children and you have children at home, I want you guys to commit to educating them on some of the basics. Right now, I currently go into schools and volunteer to do financial literacy with kids. I currently teach children today about construction and investing inside of real estate. As you learn, I want you to start educating your own children because they fail because lack of knowledge, but it's also lack of sharing. We're not holding them accountable to the things that we should be holding them accountable to. No one taught us, and we need to make sure that we pour back into them as much as we possibly can. One of the biggest memories that I ever had was the memory that I did not have $1 to buy a cheeseburger. If you've ever been that low where you couldn't buy a cheeseburger, it's very emotional. And every day when I go out and I work every day, I simply remember those days. There's something or some moment that all of us have that we have to remember to keep us to going further inside of life. And I want you guys to take that memory or whatever that life challenge or that struggle was, and I need you to utilize that to push yourself to your next level. Who are you going to be in 10 years, in 20 years? Where are you going to be? What type of life are you going to be living? Are you going to be living at your current life, or are you just living your best life today? Those are things that we as real estate professionals have to think about. The checks come so quick when we have a closing, and then 30, 40 days later, there is no remnants of that check anymore. It is gone. It went to bills. It could have been in between transactions that is just like, okay, I had this many bills in between since my last transaction, and now I didn't have that pile go down, and now I got a bill again. You have to pay your future self first. We're in our best money-making years today. The last thing I want to talk about is a quote that I recently heard from Melzy Porter. I told him, I said, that's the best quote I done heard in a very long time. And the quote goes like this: build a foundation for your children that will be strong enough for them to build their future on, and it will increase their chances of success and enhance their confidence to compete in the real world. Compete in the real world. For me, that says a lot, because when you think of young Black men, they are still at the bottom of the barrel when it comes to earning wages today. African-American women can surpass them in earnings all day. And it has gotten us to the point where we are superpowers. We know that we can do it and our confidence is strong. But for most of us, we are not teaching our children how to prepare themselves to compete in the real world today. If I can leave you with one last thing, and I forgot I have a giveaway too, so don't let me forget the giveaway. I want you guys to understand that the life that we all work so hard for is the life that we have to prepare ourselves for. If you can see yourself in 20 years, I want you to see yourself the same way you see yourself today, enjoying life, living, traveling, buying the things that you love. But the only way for you to do those things is if you prepare today. Now, our great money-making years, we all know they start to decrease over time. But if you put in today and pay yourself first and build the assets that can pay all of your bills, then you can continue to live the way that you want to live. You have to pay yourself first and invest in assets that can pay you later. I want to stay in touch with most of you, because some people are just like, okay, Lenore Sherman, okay, she was great. But what I want to do is I want to hold you accountable. I want you guys to go and follow me on IG. For those who have already reached out to me, that is actually me, the answers. I've had people that have reached out to me and with their problems, and I'll talk to them about them. If it's something that you're interested in inside of real estate, I'm going to give you advice about it. I always answer email and IG. I am never too busy to answer, because back when I got started, there was no me that could help me. So I truly believe that everything that I've learned, I am supposed to pass that on to someone, because while you're learning, everything you learn goes to your children when you pass it on. So go and follow me at Lenore Sherman. You can always email me. And yes, I answer every email, lenoresherman@gmail.com. If you call me and you tell me you're having a problem with the business and real estate with an investment, I'm going to answer, because I believe in paying it forward. And as we continue to grow and thrive, it benefits our future generation. Okay, so here's my question. How many people inside of this room that, despite everything that they went through, had a really challenging time, and for some reason the devil just did not want them here today? If that's you, I need you to stand up. Come on up here. Hand me those cards, Victoria. Y'all like, okay, what you want? Come here. Come on up here. I only got a few minutes left. Hand me those cards. Not you, Foster. You got my personal cell number. If you got my personal cell number and I talk to you on a regular, you don't have to come up. Hand me those cards right there by my phone. Look underneath my phone. They're not there. Oh, no. Okay. Yes. Okay, I got you. I'm coming over there for you. They were right there, some cards. Okay, so no, not those. It's another set. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I need 2 more people. The lady with the shoes off, she's 8. And who else I got? 9. Okay, can you guys step over there? What I'm going to do is step over to right there. I'm gonna come over to you guys in 1 second. What I'm going to do is, for these women over here, God has told me that there are some women in this room who have really had a challenging time getting here, but despite everything that they went through, they still made it here. For these women over here who had a challenging time getting here, I'm going to give them a free consultation for their vision as to what they want to happen inside of real estate and help them create a plan for them to get to their next level. Now, do I have anyone inside the room that has always wanted to do real estate development? That's most of the room up inside of here. Okay. What I'm gonna be doing is I have a stack of books over here. My sister's gonna pass those books out. Inside of this book, it talks about project management. It gives you the ABC basics almost at 5th grade level as to what you need to do to invest inside of real estate, what you should be looking for, who you should be talking to, how to do construction budgets and everything. She's going to pass out the books that we have here. If you still want a book and it's not one here, she's gonna give you my card and you're going to call me and I'm going to mail you a book. At the end of the day, everything that I talk about, I want to walk my talk and make sure that I give back to the women that are inside of this room, because there was no one available to me. No one available. And I feel as if that there were more people that shared their knowledge and gave it away, we'd be further along in the future. So I want to make sure that you guys get those books, and I want to hold you accountable for the things that you're supposed to have. And most importantly, I want you guys to start investing in your assets over your liabilities. I'm Lenora Sherman. Bye, ladies.
Did I tell the truth, y'all? Oh my gosh. I feel like I told the truth and then some, because everything that I said, she just added to it. And it's just such a blessing. I can really resonate with being in this business for 13 years and not having the platform that we do now. I know we came in here and we started, very lively. Not to say that we're not live now, but with the fun and of the 90s hip hop and the dancing and everything. But this weekend, she just kicked off really, really just showing what you all can expect this entire weekend. Some people, they question, should they be at VIP night? I'm not saying that the rest of the weekend isn't just as powerful, but you can see before you second guess yourself next year. For those of you all virtual that is not sitting here with us today, this is the room that you want to be in, because we are leaving here with knowledge, with elevation, with unity. I can go on and on, but I know I keep using this word excited, and I'm gonna use it a lot tomorrow. I think that's just I'm just gonna coin that for the weekend right now because I get a little higher and higher each time. Our next speaker, you all, I've been watching for decades. We've been listening to for decades. I got a quick story. It's so funny. I've seen this woman several times. And I don't care how many times she came to Chicago, I made sure I got a ticket to see her another time. It's like, come on now. Remember the first time was like at Alhambra Palace. If you're from Chicago, I know you remember that. Yeah. And I was just like, who is this person? She's so little. Her voice is so big. It just, when you just hear just the first tone come out, it's just like, man, like, where that come from? What really, I'm a person that, if anyone knows me personally, I like to joke. I am very lighthearted and everything. It's because, we've all been through a lot of trials and errors, and I live by just letting it slide and finding the silver lining in every situation. So that's why no matter what, you always see me with a smile on my face. So I kid, but I'm very serious inside, and a lot of people won't even understand what I go through behind closed doors. This woman's music has gotten me through a lot of days and nights. Okay. I used to go to what was called The Experience by Dedrick Jones. Yes. I think I want to say, I might be a little off. I know I've seen you at least 2 to 3 times there. And each time I was front and center. I just wanted to listen to every word. Every word that you spoke meant just as much to me as your lyrics. Because it was just, those experiences did something to me because it was a very intimate setting. It was, if anybody know Dedrick, he was just a staple in Chicago's just music industry. And he brought us things that no one did. An experience. And it wasn't just an interview. It was intimate, it was deep, it was, look, I'm a real person. And I appreciate you for coming time and time again and sharing your story with us. I'm talking about Chrisette Michele, y'all. I'm just gonna tell you a little bit more about it because now I feel like I know her like my girl. You have your best friend in your head. Yeah, that's how I feel. So she originated from New York. She's not only known for her R&B music, but also for her very soulful lyrics. She's won a Grammy for the best urban alternative song for her song Be Okay. And I know at one point in time or another, that was all we wasn't in the big Chevys, but we was right. I'ma be okay. Yeah. Right? I know it ain't just me. Her international touring career spans over a decade with artists like Maxwell, Common, Solange, Raheem Devine, Marsha Ambrosia, India Arie. She has also played the lead role in sold out national musical theater tours, such as Love Jones, Married but Single, and most recently the brand new Devin Stevens stage play, Best Man. Most recently, Chrisette has welcomed us as on her spiritual journey. I've been watching you, and I really, really appreciate, like, just when I thought I couldn't know anymore, I know it's something very, sometimes people feel a little predatory. They feel like, you know, that those are things that I should keep to myself. That's only between me and God. Those are things that should be in private. I need to keep something to myself so everything isn't so public. I'm vulnerable, and that's what I see in you right now. I'm very, very elated that you are here. And I am ready to hear the next chapter in your journey. Please come and welcome, help me welcome Grammy Award-winning artist, Chrisette Michelle.
Thank you. I had a dream last night, and I was walking through fire. I don't dream about fire often. I dream often, but I don't dream about fire. And I never thought about walking through it. That doesn't sound like a very good idea. But I was walking through this fire. It was 2:00 in the morning. I had gone back to sleep. And when I woke up at 7:41, which is very, very late for me, I wake up at about 5:30, 6:00 every day. Because I really like the daytime. I like when the day just starts because I can't believe I get another chance to do it again. I can't believe I get another chance to open up my eyes and just see what happens. Just see what God is about to do. So waking up at 7:40 this morning, I was traumatized. I said, oh my God, I'm not going to make my nail appointment. And my nails were really not good looking. I called my nail tech right away. I said, girlfriend, I know it's 7:41. Can you even believe it? She said, come on, baby. What kind of coffee do you want? I said, look at God. I mean, every single day, he just keeps showing up. But I'm in this dream and I'm walking through fire. And when I get up from dreams, I'm very careful not to go on anything like social media or a phone, because if God has something he wants to say, I want to be really careful not to miss it, because I've missed his voice before and it's caused major consequences. So I said, God, why? Nope. How do you walk through fire? And I just heard a small little voice say, calculated. Calculated was the word that came to me, and I kept that word in my heart, and I didn't do anything with it because in the moment it didn't make complete sense. And so I got up and I went and did my nail appointment, and I got to my nail stylist and I said, Tori, how do you walk through fire? And she said, girl, you just do. I said, okay, that resonates with you? Okay. Okay, now to me that sounds very dangerous. But it resonated with her also. And so I kept going through the day. I rushed from her, and I'm so stressed out about this fire that I'm feeling in my spirit that instead of going straight to my place to get right into the Uber, to get right to the airport, I went to Whole Foods to buy bread first. I put it in the toaster, added butter and jam, ate it, and then went downstairs to the Uber, saw my manager teammate, and we went over to the airport. We got to the airport, we went through the airport, we got on the flight, we were on time, we landed, we got here. And I said, you know what, Queen is my teammate's name. I said, you know, I think I want to talk about fire tonight. And she, you know, she didn't ask no questions because Queen already know I'm nuts. I'm nuts. Out of here. Done. because I don't really do fear very well. I'm not saying that's a good thing. I should do it more often. It would have caused me a lot less trauma in my life. But I don't do fear often. And so I said, Queen, I think I'm gonna talk about fire. So I went outside to the water in the back and I just started taking some notes. When we came back inside, I had some things written down. How do you walk through fire? Thing number one, you walk through focused. You have to believe that you do know what's on the other side. People always want to give God the credit for knowing everything that's on the other side, but oftentimes when we're in the midst of a fire, something uncomfortable, we've got an idea of what's right in front of us. And we want to be so focused on how hot it is, how uncomfortable it is, that we won't even give ourselves any credit for seeing anything at all. Give ourselves no credit for seeing anything at all, and we just forfeit the small, little, tiny blessing that's just one step ahead because we're afraid to walk in fire. Sis, you're in the fire. You might as well get the step in. You're already there. How you look being in the fire and deciding to sit down, that don't make no sense. It's hot. You might as well start walking. The nice thing about kingdom-led feet is that there's a lamp that's going to guide you every step of the way, so you don't have to worry. You might not know what's a mile ahead, but you might be able to see what's a step ahead. Step number one, get focused. Step number two is my favorite personally. It's be fierce. Why am I saying be fierce in the fire? You ever see somebody look busted and disgusted in the midst of a storm? And you think to yourself, she's so beautiful if she would just comb her hair. She's just so gorgeous if she would just brush her teeth. I mean, it's really not much else that she needs to do because God made her so outstanding, but she's distracted by this fire. So insane. She's gorgeous. And her friends keep telling her, you know what I like to do? The thing about fire is you usually can smell it. There's usually some smoke involved. Chances are you've probably made a big mistake and you're about to reap the consequences. Don't get so mad that you got to reap consequences. Prepare for the consequences. You know what? I got about $78 stored up. That'll buy me lunch for about 2 weeks. Let me get some beans and rice. Let me go get some water. Mama, you got any water left in your house? Because I'm about out. Let me start stacking with my water, my beans, my rice. Matter of fact, I'm going to meal prep on Monday because I'm going to probably be so tired from sitting in this fire. It's getting so hot. Let me just make sure my meals are together. Prepare for the fire. You know it's coming. That's the part that nobody wants to admit. This is about to be bad. Nobody wants to admit that. You see it's about to be bad. You know it's about to be bad. You know it should get bad. And you don't want to prepare for that. And so now here you are inside of bad news with no good ideas because you forgot to think before you had to walk through the fire. Y'all mad at fire, but fire's a good thing. The last thing you want to do in order to walk through fire, this is my favorite part. I know I got 2 favorite parts. I've been through a lot of fire. Is be calculated. If you get the honor of walking through fire, then you're going to get a very special kind of eyesight. And this eyesight is going to be like, you ever see those TV shows where they say you got 6 minutes to go through the grocery store and get everything on this list. And you see those people go through that store and they get so many things on this list and you can't believe in 6 months. I could never go grocery shopping that fast. Matter of fact, to get my bread this morning took me 10 minutes. I timed it. 3 things I needed: jam, bread, and honey. It took a very long time. But when you're in the fire, you get this keen sense of where things are and what you need. People start looking for ladders to get out of windows. People start understanding where water is. You understand where water is like you never did before. You understand where the towel is to put at the bottom of the door so that the smoke doesn't. You think on this crazy kind of instinct when you're in fire. Get calculated. Get real calculated. Don't let nobody fool you out of being calculated in the fire. Oh, she doing it. Oh, sure am. Sure. She's super spiritual now. Sure am. You try going in this fire without being spiritual. You try it. It's not dope. Get calculated, because when you get into that fire, there's some stuff in there for you. And if you're brave enough, it's about bravery. People always want to tell you how bad your situation is. We already know that part. The part that they don't know is that all things work together for the good of those that love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. No, it's true. I didn't write it. It's just a true statement. And so if you can get brave enough to start asking God, what's in here? What's in this fire that I can get? What's in this fire? You know what? I got a feeling some of y'all are starting to see things in your mind. Write them down. You don't want to forget. If there's some fire going on, just write down the stuff. What's in this fire? What do I need in this place? Write it down. Write it down. I'll give you 10 seconds. My favorite part about what I wrote down, I thought it was really funny. I wrote it down. I don't even know if I should say it because it's absolutely ridiculous. This is what I said to myself. I said, you might as well come out well done. You might as well. I mean, if we're going through fire, you might as well come out well done. What's it look like having to go back in the microwave after you've already been in the fire? I don't want no fast, ridiculous, high heat nonsense after I've already been in fire. I got real flames. So what do it mean to come out well done? You know how they say, well done. I don't mean to be deep, but I would like God to be proud of me when I come out of this fire. That's what I would like. I'm not really concerned with what anybody else thinks about me in this fire. Matter of fact, I got something really exciting about fire. I'm going to say it in 1 second, but if God could be pleased with me and say, well done, after I come out of the fire, chances are I may not have to go back in it. Isn't that nice of God? He say, well done. You be like, yes, because that was really bad. Well, you already know that. When you're in the fire, you want to do yourself a favor. And I stole this from Queen. You can charge me for it later, Queen. Don't just tell me how much later. I got your back. I'm gonna need you to study flames. Don't spend all this time in this fire and don't study it. Oh, no. Study flames. Take a look at them. See how they're made. See how tall they are, how wide they are, what colors they are. Study heat. When you're in the middle of a place that you really, really do not like, study it. When you're in the middle of a place that you really, really do not like, study it. When you're in the middle of a place, when you've been canceled by the Black community and you really don't like that feeling, study it. What do I need to know about my Black community? What did I miss? I don't like this feeling, but I should study it so it doesn't have to happen again. Ain't nobody trying to go through that twice. Let me take a look around. Well, let me look on your Instagram. What did you not like? Let me see. Let me go study that. Hold on for a second. I know you're being mean about it, but I'm going to study it anyway. It's uncomfortable, but I'm going to study it anyway. What did I do wrong? Hold on a second now. I know you don't got the right words to say how I did wrong, but let me hear you one more time. What you say now? I'm going to go study it. I'll be right back. I'm going to go study that. You have to humble yourself in these moments. Study the fire. Study flames. Study heat. Black folk don't like to be hot. Better get you a bathing suit. Don't hate what you're going through. Study it. Listen to this. It came to teach you. It came to prepare you for the other side. And make you just uncomfortable enough that you don't settle there. It would keep you there if it was water. It would keep you there if it was fried chicken and black-eyed peas. But it had to come in fire because you had to get through it. Sometimes we get so disenfranchised, disappointed, upset, we forget that we can see just a little in front of us, that we settle in the fire for fear of not being able to actually see. You got to stop letting yourself believe that you can't see. Somebody keeps telling you that. Something on the inside of telling you, I don't know my way out. It's not true. I'm telling you it's not true. I've decided on your behalf it's not true. You can see your way out. Somebody on the outside is saying, you're never going to get through that. It's not true. I'm telling you as somebody who's been on the inside of the fire, who's made her way out, it's not true. You got to stop believing lies. Lies, those lies are not your promise. You have to start remembering those promises. I don't care how ridiculous they were. Sometimes the fire is to burn away old people's dreams from your body. Sometimes the fire comes to burn away all of the things that are not actually who God is calling you to be, but that you've been being because somebody else told you to be. Sometimes you got to become gold in the fire and see yourself for the very first time. And you wonder why people keep saying, you're glowing, sis. In the fire. I'm in fire. I'm in fire. If I'm not glowing, something's wrong. You're lucky if you keep glowing outside of the fire, but who doesn't glow in fire? Make sense? Get in. Get what you need. Don't get complacent. Get out. I know that sounds simple. Get in. Sometimes we did something crazy. We wilded out. We was wilding. I was tripping. I don't know. I was wilding. And so we see the consequence. And we're like, I'm not going over there. No consequence for me. And you're stuck on the wrong side of your destiny because you don't even want to go through what. The thing that I'm stealing from Queen is this. We were sitting outside and we saw one fake duck and two real geese. Very strange, this duck. I said, oh, the duck is not real. Very interesting. And Queen, I'm studying the duck. Queen is looking up at the sky, not even moved by the fake duck. She's looking up at the sky and she said, you know, the sun is one big ball of fire, isn't it? I said, you know what? This is why I don't like none of my friends, because they all crazy like me. They deep. They hear from God all the time. The sun is a big ball of fire, isn't it? I said, oh, wow. How do you go through the fire? You go through the sun. That's good. I'm going in the strength of the Lord through this fire. I'm going to come out on the other side. Last cool thing about fire is it's blinding. The cool thing about fire being blinding is while you're trying to post on Instagram that you're glowing, can't nobody even see you. Because you're in the fire. You're trying to get your followers up, and ain't nobody even looking in your direction. Because it's not your season to be seen right now. The fire is blinding. Yet you're in the sun. It's good for you. So while you're in the fire, if anybody happens to be in such a ridiculous place, I don't know how I came up with this. It was a dream. I told you the story. If any of you happen to be in the fire, don't worry about who's watching. Don't be ashamed of what people are thinking. They're not thinking about you. They're not checking for you, sis. This is your chance to get everything that you need so that when you come out on the other side, you are covered in the sun, glowing, having learned lessons, inspiring other people to encounter God. And you know what's funny? People say, man, I sure wish I knew Jesus like you did. I don't know if you want to know him like that. I didn't. But the fire leaves you no choice. The fire leaves you no choice. So my last thing I want to say is this simple passage, and I'll sing a tiny, eensy song. Remember that God's strength is made perfect in your weakness. And you can't be perfect all the time. You can't be big all the time. You can't be grand all the time. You can't be strong all the time. You can't be strong all the time. It's going to be hot. You're going to be tired. Just look straight in front of you, a little tiny bit, just about 5 to 10 inches. You're going to see your way out, one step at a time. You're going to make it out onto the other side, and you're going to glow. I'm proud of you in advance. You're welcome. You're welcome. So there's this song that I love. My little passage of scripture was Psalms 91 because I just thought it was really cool that God had wings. It's like I could hide up under these. There's an old song says, what a friend we have in Jesus. All our sins and griefs to bear. What a privilege to carry everything to God in prayer. Oh, what peace we often forfeit. Oh, what pain we often bear. All because we do not carry everything to God in prayer. Everything to God in prayer. Everything to God in prayer. I love you so much. Thank you so much for this invite. It means a lot to me. Peace.
I just hugged a friend in my head, y'all. Oh man. No, in all seriousness though. I paid for this makeup, Chrisette. I've been knowing Makita for a couple years, and I didn't find out until the first conference when I was sitting next to her that she was an ordained minister. Oh, so y'all was just as shocked as me, huh? Makita has pushed me to limits that I didn't even know that I had. And Savvy Chicks is just really a testimony of how she just always thought outside the box. How Makita and I met, started, it was Periscope. And we just ran across each other. And every time we saw each other, I don't know, we were in every single person's Periscope at the same time. I'm like, who is this person? And I mean, she just uplifted me and she uplifted me. And, I would always comment on her. And it was just, again, as someone else, I just felt I knew before I met them in person. Um, she called me and another agent uh, one day, another phenomenal agent by the name of Shayna Baker. And she said, I want to meet with you all. I, I woke up with a dream and you all were in it. And we just met and we started doing conferences to teach home people that wanted to purchase real estate. And then professionals start, well, why we can't come? So we was like, okay, well, we'll rotate. Now this is for, the professionals that either want to elevate their businesses or want to even think about getting into real estate. Um, we all kind of got busy, started going in different paths. But God had something bigger in store for Makita. And that was this journey of her bringing all of us together. And I am so grateful that she keeps thinking of me year after year and still allowing me to be a part of this. To something that Chrisette just said to us about going through the fire, it's funny that as busy as Makita is, if I call, she will answer. Because I guess she know Sherry must want something. she feeling something. And I'm getting a little part. I know this is not about me, but it's just that it's so funny that God places certain people, places things and situations just right at that moment. Although I feel like Chrisette is my friend in my head, she had no part of this conversation that me and Makita just had personally the other day. But funny, she gets up here and talks about going through the fire. And I was talking to her and I was telling her how I was getting discouraged and how I know how smart I am. I know that I have a true passion for this because I love to educate. It's not just about a check for me. Every single time I build relationships. I'm not in this for a check, but because I'm not a person that loves to post on social media, I'm overlooked for the people. No shade, but I know that I know more than because they love to post on social media and I don't. And it's simply because of that. Regardless of that, Makita never counted me out because she knows me as a person. Thank you. So now I know it's because I'm blinded by the sun. And he just working on me because this is my season and I'm just gonna get greater. I'm gonna get off the stage before I do the ugly cry. So I would like to call up Mrs. Savvy Chick herself, Makita Smith.
Girl, listen, we need
waterproof all weekend. All weekend. Y'all, she messed me up. Like, first of all, I want to know why y'all was when she said I was an ordained. What I do to y'all? What I do to y'all? So I'm not gonna be before you long because I'm speaking on Sunday, but I want to say why I put this together. So the reason why I put Savvy Chicks in Real Estate together is because I was seeing in our community that we were getting commission checks, but we weren't doing anything with them. And I felt like, you know, God, how can we teach more realtors to take the commission check and flip it again, and flip it again, and flip it again so that we can build a legacy? And I think that the things that, like I told someone that I didn't know what it felt like to make six figures in my family until I started making it when I started in real estate. I didn't know what it was like to make multiple six figures until I started making it last year. Now I'm gonna tell y'all what it's gonna feel like to make these seven figures this year. So just know that I'm not letting up. But the one thing that people know about me is that I have a business that I just birthed, Seven Figure CEO. And the reason why I birthed that business is because I want to see more seven figure CEOs. And the one thing that I have been taught as it relates to like social media is that there is so much money in these entrepreneur streets that we are not touching, that we are not getting. And the one thing that I learned even about myself that I was afraid, because I said, Lord, I'm a realtor. How am I gonna start talking to these people about social media, about marketing, about creating courses and all this stuff? And I just went and quietly did it behind the scenes, and I started getting clients. And my first client sitting right over here, she said, can you do my social media? Your social media looks so good. Can you do mine? And I said, I don't know. She said, I'll pay you. I said, okay, let me see. So we kept on with that. And I did that, y'all, for about a year. And that little hobby, I did less and less real estate. And then that hobby turned into me having a digital marketing agency, to where that digital marketing agency now will make seven figures this year. And so in 2019, I had a conference, and Carl, I'm a faithful person. So if you are with me, you are with me to the end. Like I like Sherry said, I don't know what I did. It's because that I love genuine spirits and I love authenticity. And I feel like that is you. And so for all of you that are in this room, I just want to say thank you for being here, because you said, thank you, Makita, for getting me in. Thank you. Y'all been slamming the DM. Slamming the DM everywhere. And people texting me, can you get so-and-so in? I'm like, when I say sold out, I mean sold out, like not fake sold out to sell more tickets, but sold out. And so when I started Savvy Chicks in 2017, I had no idea that I would be able to make the most in my lifetime that I have ever made, because of you all that are sitting in this room. A lot of you I have coached. You are in my membership program. If there was something that I can do and give you a word to encourage, I just want to let you all know that you encourage me as well. And my dad, can you stand up? He's in the room. He's 70-some years old, y'all. And the one thing that my daddy taught me, west side of Chicago, flea market. I don't know if y'all know the flea market on Division. And okay. So he used to get us up every Saturday and Sunday morning, and we would go to the flea market, and he would hustle them bags, y'all, and hustle t-shirts. And so I got my hustle from my dad. And then when it came to management and being organized, I got that from my mama. Mama, where you at? Is she in the room? She gone. Okay, she gone to bed, y'all. Okay. But I got that from my mother. And I just want to encourage you that if you think that you can't catch six figures or you can't make multiple six figures, I want you to look at somebody like me who shared a bedroom with their sister and their brother for years until we were teenagers. Okay. But my daddy laughing because it's the truth. And I didn't have an example of what entrepreneurship looked like in my family. So that's why I'm always sharing with each one of you, because I want to make sure that I'm sharing in my journey so you don't have to make those mistakes. So when I say pay your taxes, put something aside, yeah, because you don't want them payment plans with the IRS. You don't want to be audited. So I always tell that story. And what I want you to walk away with tonight is get ready for your breakthrough. Because it's happening. It's already done. It's all, and Cassette Michelle, I already told you out there, you weren't supposed to be here tonight in my mind, but the way that God set it up, you and Lenore, he arranged this, y'all. It was not planned, but God has arranged this. And what I'm going to share with you, one of my clients, got my nose running, it's like, okay. So one of the things that I want to share, Shonda Berry is one of my marketing clients. And she bought a VIP ticket, y'all, and she couldn't make. She said, Makita, I think they're going to admit me into the hospital. And she has an infection in her colon, and she is fighting that infection, and she's in the hospital. But Chrisette, when you was up here, she texted me. I said, can I share this? She said, you can share it. She said, I'm laying in this hospital bed because we virtual, y'all. Y'all know I know how to do a conference. So we are in person, and we have like 100 people that purchase virtual tickets. And Shonda is one of those people that was supposed to be here, but she is laying in her hospital bed. And she said, I'm laying in this hospital bed, battling inflammation in my colon. And she talking about fire. She said, I'm about to do a lap in this room. And then she sent me the gift, y'all, of Whitney Houston doing this in the audience. I think she was doing it to Patti LaBelle. She said, Makita, I need this. I said, can I share? She said, absolutely. Yes, absolutely, you can. She said, they are monitoring my heart. The nurse just came and asked, are you okay? She said her heart rate went up just watching. So I want you to know that you are not just here to learn about real estate. You are getting ready to walk into your next destination. And so if you think all that trouble that you may have had in getting here, it was a reason for that. But because you pushed through and you showed up, it's a blessing in that. So I want you to enjoy this entire weekend and just know that what you came for, you're going to get that and then some. Okay. All right. So that is it. This is a wrap. Ladies, meet us back in the conference center tomorrow at 9 a.m. for brunch. Now y'all can dance.